Hey, so where are we going? It's Kaz here. I'm just doing an individual sound check here to make sure we're okay. Great to have you here tonight. Let's see what we've got to say. Let's see who comes in. Hope you like the background. And we've got some exciting news because we're going to make Australia great again tonight. Let's get it done. Who's going to be the first here? Let's go. Let's see what we can do, what we can create. See if you'd agree. See if you actually like what we've got to say. Let us know, you filthy animals. What do we got? It comes up with top fans now. I think that's fucking, pardon me, that's quite nice. I can't see anyone here yet. Let's go. Come on. Come on, team. Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? Okay, Sam C, how you going, mate? Let us know, Sammy. How are we going for volume here, buddy? VO Webby, g'day, mate. G'day. Sounds good. Excellent. Joy. Mate, how's that hand going? We're still going to have a chat, mate. I saw your message, but, mate, I've absolutely been inundated with calls lately, you know, and every time I go to come back to you, you just got to give me that reminder, please, mate. Simon, you're not late, mate. You're not pregnant either. Mate, you might enjoy tonight. You really might enjoy it. Thanks, Sammy. How do you like that background? Sound is 5x5. Fantastic. Great to know. Great to hear. I hope you're all doing well. Australia could be the best country in the world. We're going to talk about that tonight. And I've got 9 different ways we can make it so that should make almost everyone here really, really happy. Let's see what we can do. Just waiting for a few more people to come in. Yeah, this one might even be interesting to do a poll. But unfortunately, I've got a busted screen at the moment over here, so I've only got one screen there, which we're operating multiple scenes on, which is extremely hard to go back and forth to make it entertaining and not glitchy for you. But I'm going to give you a quick. Where are we? We'll put the first slide up there just to stimulate you before we get on the next one. Some of them are going to be military orientated, some of them are going to be citizenry, some are going to be rules that need to be here, etc. And the first one we're going to be talking about is about financial education for people within Australia, something they don't get at the moment, something they desperately need to have. And I believe that it is deliberate that they don't actually teach it properly. We need to break the cycle. That's exactly what it says. We need teachers from 16 upwards to actively be teaching, you know, as we get closer and closer to a universal basic wage, social credit scores, to be able to give people the skills to be able to understand compound interest, the implications of it, time in the market, alternatives to house purchasing and having handcuffs on, you know, which will continually go up while ever people can see that people going to houses, they can keep hyping those markets and making life impossible for those that get stuck to mortgage rates that go well beyond the feasible for a lifestyle as well, faced by a catastrophic breakup that can lead to the destruction of people. So breaking the cycle, it needs to start early. It needs to be ingrained. Don't wait for the parents. This is not like sexual education. This needs to come in early so every one of you has got the opportunity, you know, to at least be a millionaire before you're 50, because there's something going on with superannuations that you can be paying into for 40 years and still not be getting millions when you get out. Because I tell you now, I am not a financial advisor. I am not a fiduciary. You shouldn't take it as though I'm explaining this from the point of view other than a conversation and common sense. But something is happening. You are not getting the information you need, and there is no reason why everyone that works for 30 years shouldn't be a multimillionaire when they actually decide to cash out. Joy says, good, so it's broken. It'd be broken, but I need to get an MRI to see if there is any other damage. Okay. You and I need to have a conversation real soon so I can find out what's going down. Cal, g'day, Kaz. It was good to hear from you today. Cal, you're one of my favourite people to talk to, even though you're a Western Australian, which makes you South African. But tonight should be good for you. Step one, no more mandatory voting. Yep, I agree. I haven't got that on there, but I've got something similar, Simon Powell, and I totally agree with the filthy Raffy, to get on board. No mandatory voting. Yep, we don't want donkey votes going there that are actually hurting the those that take it seriously. G'day, Kaz, how you going? Says Aussie. I'm doing real well, mate. Real well. NYAFV, how's it going, bloke? It's going well there in New York. New York as fuck, he says. A wise choice, Sam C. Come back when you've got your high school certificate and you can assess much more of defence. And let's understand that when you're 18 to 25, you really don't fully know who you are, what your capabilities are, what your skill sets are, and whether you can trust your tyres as you go into a tight turn. If you're trying to put a comment up at the moment, guys and gals, and it's not going up, that's because you're not subscribed. Subscribe now. Watch yourself come up on the screen. Bang. Feel free to become a member because we've got a really big surprise that's launching probably next Sunday, and that is Money Club. Money Club is going to be for people in the essence of break the cycle, which is going to allow you and the lesbian ghoul to have closed membership streams, which is not on the topic of military, but it will be on the topic of side hustles. It will be about rejoicing in your relationship with money, education, as we look at videos, as we look at compound interest, as we look at houses, real estate versus stock market. We're going to be diving right into whether you want to be a growth guy, whether you want to be a dividend guy, how old are you, what's your time realization, are you doing it for you, are you doing it for your family? It's going to be all about money education with each other, teaching each other, me learning, you learning, us prospering, but also motivating each other one step at a time to take ourselves to financial freedom, understanding that retirement is not what you want to do. Retirement is for people to sit on the lounge the rest of their life eating waffles and drinking coffee. What we want to do is open your borders to make them global, to allow you to have the opportunities by the time you're 50 years old, I'm 54, too late for Kaz, that you can become the best version of you with options. Money may not buy freedom, but by God, it can get rid of some problems. So, Sammy, be cool, stay in school. Amen. Hey, Kaz, first stream I've been able to make in a long time, mate. It's fine, mate. We're just lucky to have you here. Yeah, it can be anywhere in the world right now, and here you are right now. Antonali Hein, nice German name there. Hey, Kaz, looking better. I feel a lot better. I'm on some epic drugs at the moment that completely reboot the system. Probably get rid of a whole bunch of things I don't know is wrong with me. And I feel A-OK. Heading up the coast tomorrow to go and see Pop. Then come back, launch the... I'll be doing a couple of videos probably on the Stockton beaches, Newcastle beaches. There was some beautiful background for Jody Stevens from USA and Ed B. Senior. But other than that, we'll be launching the Money Club probably next Sunday so that you know that when you come to In the Trenches with Kaz, one thing is your military. Okay, we've always been focused on military, sure, but that's not good enough. We need to have a full 3D interactive community so that we don't just look after where you're going to, but what happens to the periphery, having your finances engaged, weaponized like they are special forces too. I want every one of your dollars to be working for you so that you have the options for a better life, understanding I'm 54, I've got to do it for my daughter, you've got to do it for you, and I'm here to help you along the way, motivate you, cheer, pom-pom, and those streams will happen every second Thursday to make sure that one, you can't wait for it, but two, you've got some news to share. And whether you get a $1 dividend or whether you're investing a $25,000 bonus into something, we're going to all be there for each other to support each other and support your success in the future. And options, you get better looking with every zero that you add to your net value. Tyrone, hey Kaz, whenever I hear Tyrone, I just think of a dude with a 12-inch dick. I don't know why. When did you say the money talks were starting? That sounds like a great idea. Would you let the viewers contribute to it? Absolutely. It will be just for the viewers, mate. So all you need to do is go down to where it says join. We haven't actually opened up the tier for Money Club yet, but when it opens, what it'll be is for the members to be able to come there and members only, so that there's no side talk. It's all about those that are there for the right reason for that, and you're going to love it. I don't care if I'm talking to one person or if I'm talking to 200. We're going to love it, and we're going to grow together, and I will be absolutely excited. You think I'm excited now? I'm going to be even more excited. Yeah, let's see what they call me Kapuka on the 4th. Mate, it's still going to be cold, but guess what? You're not going to be out of IETs before you actually get to Christmas, which means you're going home for at least 6 weeks. Fantastic. You can book that one in. NY, no, not New York, as fuck. It's an acronym for mine and my family's first names, Nathan, Yola, Aora, and Freya. Beautiful names. Sounds a little bit South American. My interview's on the 24th of military police. There you go. There you go. Put the cuffs on. That's the way she likes it. Jenny G from up north. How you going? How's the weather? Deborah, hey, Kaz, good to see you back. I am better. I am back. Deborah Rittman. Deborah, I always think of a girl I went to school with named Deborah. You know, and I'm not trying to be rude here, but she was a big-breasted lady with brown eyes, and I still remember her fondly. You know, I don't think it's you, but, mate, great to have you here. We've got FGX Enlistment Day, 12th of August. Can't wait. FGX, how come you're not on Patreon? Get on Patreon, team. Bam, I've changed the cover. It's black now to show that I'm not racist. And I look forward to chatting with yous one-on-one while I'm walking on the beach, rubbing my tinea out on the Newcastle sand. Iman, RSC will be able to join if we're already in the Black Legion. So it'll be a completely separate thing, Iman. It'll be a separate thing. You know, we could always talk. I do talks with everyone as it is. If you look at the Patreon, I do invites to people to come and have those chats. I don't know if a lot of you see the bell, but that's for us to come there, and we get a good turnout each time. There's the link there. If you go on, team, go on to the Black Legion. If you're going to Patreon, that's for one-on-one phone calls. Okay, but what I'll also be looking at doing is for the members, if you look at the different tiers, by being in Voice of the People, I think it is, you will, I'll be sending a message out to give the phone number to the bat phone to also those that don't want to go on Patreon, that want to keep it simple, stay on YouTube. And so for the members, for the Voice of the People, they'll probably be getting the phone number given fairly quickly now as well, which will be really good for simplifying that. We've got Bretty. G'day, Bretty. How's the family going, my man? We've got, one sec. Where are we? RL. How far along the list are we, Mr. Kaz? This is number 1, breaking the cycle. Let's get back to the subject. So this is the first of 9 rules. I want to see kids learning less about Pythagoras, less about all of these things that can be done on a computer or never done at all in their life. Let's start setting our children up for compound interest, for making their money work for them, weaponizing their money to give them options. Because financial, you don't need to be a financial advice to give financial advice. That is to guard an industry which is financial advisors that don't do any better than the S&P 500. You know, even Warren Buffett says the same shit. You know, they use the law to for lawfare to go after people that give financial advice because it hurts their back pocket. They're charlatans. Okay, still go to them, you know, but be very careful. They're going to make it feel like you couldn't do it yourself when you absolutely could. ETFs, 10% interest, you know, stacked over decades that tell you it works, and they're going to tell you no, and they have to be more active than required just to show you they're doing something with your money while taking it, but not actually giving you better returns than the S&P 500, NASDAQ 100, or maybe even your crazy crypto. Let's have a look at that for 2 seconds. Guys, crypto is on an absolute tear. One of the guys I used to train with he's got 20 Bitcoin. It just went up to 188,500 Australian. 188,000 per coin. Incredible. Warren Buffett is an absolute legend. He is, but he's got some mental health, that dude. Tell us what you think. School kids getting taught early. You know what? I'd go as far as to say this. When children get to, if they go on from 16 to 18, if they stay in school to year 12, I believe that they should get a one-time payment. This would be great for the stock market too. Tell me what you think. Every kid that finishes year 12 successfully has $10,000 paid by the taxpayer that goes front loads into an ETF they cannot touch until they're 50. They can add to it. Okay, there'll be incentives, but that $10,000 will compound in the bank that it goes through, whether it be ComSec, whatever, under Australian laws for investment, and that will compound year after year after year after year after year. By the time they're at 50 years old, they've been there for 32 years. There's no reason why that couldn't be over $1 million, okay, especially if they're adding to it. And the reason why you do that is because then they never have to draw on a pension and instead get $40,000 a year, you know, from the taxpayer, which will by then be $80,000 under a universal basic wage for money that doesn't truly exist. So why don't we just pay them at the start? So it's the bank that pays them their pension later, not the taxpayer. Now that sounds smart, Kaz. Let's go to the next slide while you contemplate that one and let me know what you think. Ready? Okay, so the next one. Let's get to it. In no particular order to keep you excited. Righto. The next one. Bam. Some of you aren't going to like this. And done. Boom. National service mandatory. Mandatory. This is number 2. We are losing our youth. You know, Simon Powell said not everyone should be forced to vote because not everyone's a critical thinker. Not everyone even knows what they're goddamn well talking about. And we've got people with IQ levels below the level of what it takes to even live in society. You know, and they have to vote. That's ridiculous. So mandatory service. The reason why I say this is we can recapture our youth. You know, we can give them a sense of belonging, a self of who they are. It goes for 1 year. It doesn't have to be combat. It cannot be deployed. You know, but the option will come at the end of the year if they meet basic fitness assessment standards, that now they get absolutely fast-tracked into either 1, regular Army, 2, Army Reserve, and then the journey continues with 1 free haircut as well. So this mandatory service allows every single employer then to take on these people after they've done their full year service, that allows them to then say, what unit did you serve with? Okay, let's have a look at your skills of that. So everyone has a threshold of and a bit of belonging to the country that they've worn a uniform, and they'll understand ethics, code of conduct, values, dress and bearing, you know, timings, self-respect, fitness, health, community, teamwork. I think I've already said it. You're going to get a completely different person, you know, and it will do more than what high school does. Yep. So mandatory service. Some of these people, it'll also rip them away from the streets, rip them away from the gangs, turn them into the best version of himself, and then hand them back to people so there's a chance of not becoming a goddamn zombie. I deliberately made this slide to show the tracks where you could be the left or the right-hand side of the tracks. This guy, I would give him a job. I'd go, I don't give a shit what your past is unless you've touched kids. Your job is to come and work for me. I'm going to make you the best version of yourself. I'm going to cut your hair off, give you a uniform, put some veins down your biceps, make you love yourself in order to be able to love your team. And then I'm going to hand you back free as a bird to be the best version of yourself. Let's go. And for those that don't agree with me, just remember, I've been to a lot of countries that have national service, and not one of them that I said is a negative. When you go through Israel, you know, you don't have to like what the politics of Israel, but the people there are lovely, and they're in more danger than most people in the world. And when you see happy people, happy youth with an M4 on their back in McDonald's, and they don't look scared. They look confident, and they've got communication skills. They've got eye contact. They've got great dress sense. They've got great handshakes. These people, live in a very dangerous environment, but they make the most of it, and you don't ever see people in Israel acting like they're a goddamn victim. Yep, I like it. Same with Singapore. National Service, RL, 1,000% great idea. Give people some transferable skills which they can use in life. Razor, he's the man. This was also his, I spoke to Razor today, and this was the rule he would like to see come in. So when people come and work for him, he can also say, you fucking know better. You know better. You've done your mandatory service. This is not the way you would act. That is not what I expect from you. Stop looking at your phone and start looking at me, and let's get the job done. And this is going to go into something else in a minute that's going to get you very excited. Freddie Carr, no, we are already taxed to the hilt with more to come. Stop giving money to people who didn't earn it. Are you talking about giving to the kids when they go from, if they finish year 12? That's an investment that gives back. You give them $10,000 once, that's it. If you don't teach them about money, if you don't give them that $10,000 to activate their finances, then you end up giving them $1 million. $1 million, not 10,000, $1 million over the next 40 years that they're dragging their feet and their sandals around, with not enough money to live. I just think, okay, you can war game it, sure, but you've got to have something in return. And why? There's a school in Ballarat that has a litter box, and yes, you heard that right, a litter box in the toilets. Apparently, it's to be inclusive for kids. Everyone at that school should be sacked. Everyone at that school that allows that to happen should be sacked. That's facilitating mental health. I thought it was a joke, yeah. Yep, they should be punished. Okay, what are your thoughts on national service? Let's go to the next slide. Let's keep it rolling. You don't have to agree with them, team. You don't have to. But I'm putting them out there to see what you think. Okay, and national service also makes the entire country stronger too. Let's go. Let's keep it on the army theme before we actually go to the ones that aren't about military. What's going on here? Come on, Kaz, that's a little bit big. That's what she said. Okay. That's a bit better. Made these slides for you today. It took me a long time, team. I'm out of town tomorrow, but I want you to have something nice to look at. Make sure you subscribe. Let's see if someone comes up. Has anyone done the mandatory $10 donation for the price of the night? Who will that be? Okay. I believe in Australia, it is bullshit that we don't see our Australian soldiers. They're an extension of not just our intelligence community, they're also of our justice system. I believe that if the soldiers, like they were when I was younger, walked around the street in their uniform, one, it'd be a walking, talking recruiting drive. It would make the people wearing their uniform wear their uniform better. And also what it would do is bring safety to the streets. But what this is about is every vehicle fly the Australian flag during administrational moves. This used to be something you could do. For some reason, it gets stifled, and I don't know why. We need more patriotism in Australia, more nationalism in Australia. Now, I would love to see a bunch of Hawkeyes, a bunch of Bushmasters, a bunch of M40, the transport guys, the legends that keep the army going with logistics. Whether it be RAF, whether it be Army, whether it be Navy. I want to see everything when it's doing an administration, non-tactical move with an Australian flag that tells the community, the people that serve you love your country. Love it. Have permission to love your country. Yep. What do you reckon about that? How good would that look? As a matter of fact, overseas, if I'm going to be where they can hear me coming, I want them to know that I'm not an American vehicle. Yep. Make Australia great again. JG, I just said it before, Kaz, take it one step earlier and do the 3-week Kapuka reserves as part of year 12. Oh, now that would be interesting. I never thought about that, JG. I love that. For that, naturally, there's a slide come up in a minute where we need to expand our military presence at least by double, whatever that looks like, which means a second training facility as well, which would go to a smaller town in Australia that asks, please, Kapukatu, come to my town. And what that does, injects $1 billion into that town to upgrade it and bring it into 2025, where we are now. Great ideas. Sudden Land. G'day, mate. Kaz, g'day, mate. Hope you're feeling better. I am. I'm on the drugs that killed River Phoenix. And I tell you what, my butt feels great. And Elton John would probably say it looks better too. It's been a while since we've seen you, mate, but it's great to have you here. Cal says, I said it to you before that I like the idea of national service, but what if was 2 years instead of one? No, it's not compulsory service. I think 1 year is enough. And then at the end of the year, we take the best of those that want to stay, you know, and then that leapfrogs them, fast tracks straight into a military career. Simon Powell says, a simple rule, remove your hats when the national anthem is being played. Well, you don't do that when you're in the forces. You salute it. Okay. Hey, Vince, how you going, mate? We've got a Navy guy there. G'day, buddy. Good to have you here. What do you reckon about vehicles flying the Australian flag when they're on Australian roads? I love the idea of that. That sort of stuff would get me wet, but I'm a man. That doesn't happen. Simon Powell says call out to Mr. Wasp. Brady Carr says Albo and Twiggy just gave away our mineral wealth to the Red Corn Ship. Yep. We should be producing our own steel and our own iron ore and exporting that. There is no reason with the resources that we have why Australia could not be a monolith, you know, in this world. Absolutely. We've got the Raptor here, and he's talking about a jet. I don't believe he's named himself after the lizard. Great to have you here, guys. Great to have you here. Is one of these rules sticking out to you more than others? What do you think on it? For those that are serving, what do you reckon? Okay, what else we got? Let's go to the next one. Okay, we've got military, yeah, military. Okay, boom. Let's go with that. This is in the similar vein to what we we're just talking about. Bam. It's time we went for a military overhaul. I know when you look at that, you're thinking, dude, that doesn't look like Australian soldiers. It doesn't matter. It's about the messaging. I created this slide. When you put Australian soldiers in on AI, it comes out with this sort of shit. It doesn't come up with Australian soldiers. Right. So we should be wearing our uniforms more in the street, like we stated before. I believe the army should be DOS. That's twice as big. If you think that's bullshit, you know, that's too many. You know, just remember we had 400,000 in 1915. You know, between 15 and 1918, 400,000 from a population just over 4 million. Yes, we can do it. You know, and just remember one thing. Most of you are going towards a job at the moment that is going to be redundant in the near future. You need something that's in the same journey, the same current as the government narrative. So these guys may take on new roles. There could be the powers of arrest given to military on its own citizens to keep the streets safer. Not tickets, not speeding tickets, but actual assistance, you know, in the street. So when you see something's going down, you have to be in uniform. And from then it might be 2 or 3 soldiers, you know, are able to assist physically in taking down someone who's breaking the law. Paramilitary, I don't know. But the military overhaul, I do believe that what we should have is a fast track system. And you should be able to apply for the fast track system that when you go in, you know, and you apply for fast track, and what that happens is no cause, all infantry. Infantry from, if you're going to infantry, for example, or a combat soldier, armored corps, whatever, you go in and you do equivalent to your Kapuka and your ITs, same location. You know, and when you go and sign up, you come in and go, I'm coming for the fast track. They go, do you know what that means? That means today you come in, you have a conversation. Next week you come in, okay, we're going to do all of the battery of tests and you're going to be in the army at the end of that day. The end of that goddamn day. You're going to be in a truck with people heading off to go to training. What do you reckon about that? Fast track military overhaul you're in the same month. You turn up, I'm fit, I'm good to go. On that, we need the standards to rise. You cannot leave basic training as a fucking fat slob. You know, when you go in and you join, you are not allowed to have kapuka for the rest of your life until you pass that basic fitness assessment, which is the base standard to even exist in the military. The base standard. Okay. But it would be fantastic. You know, we need the standards to come back up. We're hitting all the numbers for military recruiting. We also need to potentially get rid of people going in the corps they want to go in. I want you to turn up, 50 of yous there. You shouldn't be allowed to quit. You've said oath of affirmation. You've been given money. There should be a bonus of $10,000 when you sign on. Bam. That will take away any little administration that is in the background, moving all of these things. When you go to Kapuka, so that can take care of any immediate financial issues in your wife's hand, looking after your kids, all that sort of shit. Bring those standards up, and you can't quit. You signed up, and you're there. And you stay there until you've done your, unless you're untrainable, and then you go to your unit, you know, at the end of that, after you've passed your basic fitness assessment. That way people start turning up, ready to go. There's no excuse not to be. No excuse not to be. And it shouldn't be participation in RMC, which is starting to happen, and still passing them. It shouldn't be, you know, participation in the end of the School of Infantry, which it's starting to be for the time-tested crucible, which is known as hardcore. If you can't pass, you come in the weekend, sore shoulders, sore back, sore feet, and you do again what you failed at. You know, otherwise, you get back squatted. As simple as that, because you're not ready for the battalion. The reason why I say there should be no quitting is because guess what? There is no such thing as quitting on operations. You cannot do it. If you want to just drop your pack down, guess what? You're going to jail. That's what happens. I think there's an erosion of Australian culture, yes, and we need more things, and it's deliberate too. It is deliberately designed through immigration, okay, through no shame, through bad behaviour, and no policing enforcement of the things that really matter. $400 for a parking ticket in Australia now, in Sydney and Melbourne, you know, but at the same time, someone can get around a state of undress that makes them look like a worry around children and nothing happens. They call that the Mardi Gras. That should be, yeah. I've got my own opinions on that. Goddamn degenerates. Aaron. Hey, Kaz, I'm waiting for the army to get back to me. I've done everything on my side. Passed my interviews, PFA. Any tips for when I get my enlistment date? Because I'm waiting for the army to get back to me. I've done everything on my side. Passed all my interviews and PFA. It should be any day. Ron. It should be any day now, mate. You've done everything. You're good to go. Yeah. Don't be surprised when it comes. It happens fast. Hey, Ron, I was in the Air Force with a guy named Muscat. There we go. Anatoly Hine. I rang them. They got back to me within a week with a date. I feel like they get lost in the paperwork. Yeah, they've got a lot of people, you know, and a lot of unmotivated people that are also in recruiting that are avoiding going and doing their job in a training establishment. Just remember that. How's it going, Kaz? Good evening, everyone. Hayden, how you going, mate? Good to have you here, Hayden Jones. It's been a little while, but we're always happy and we're always lucky to have you. Military overhaul, double the intake, double the size of the army, fast track it, incentives, 20 years, discharge target with pension. They do it in the UK, it goddamn well works. To ask someone to stay in more than 20 years, to commit themselves to being, whether you be logistics, whether you be combat soldier, to ask someone to stay in longer than what a Roman legionary was required to do, you know, and not have a pension at the end of it, now that's a goddamn crime. A crime. Professional athlete, treat them like so. You said exactly what everyone's minds, mate. You're a legend. I'm not sure who we're talking about, but I hope he's talking about me. I'll accept it, okay? You can, this is the scaffolding. Add more to it if you need to, team. Let's get the next one. It's about to get exciting for some years. Boom. Something that you think you've got that you don't have in Australia. Bam. Here we go. Who honestly thought Who we got? Okay, that's my sister. I'm going to catch up with her tomorrow. God bless you, our families. Simon Powell. Simon, he must have been a top bloke. He is. Good to hear, Simon. I hope you should get in touch with him. Freedom of speech. Okay, we need to have freedom of speech. We need to. For those that don't know, we don't have it in Australia. You don't have freedom of speech in Australia. By the law of the gun, the police can come around your house based on what you put in Facebook, what you put in your social medias, and you can be held accountable for that. It's not like America. Do not think you've got freedom of speech. Go and look it up. You don't have it. We're seeing people in the UK getting put in jail for things they've done or said. For some reason, it's only one colour that doesn't have freedom of speech in Australia, and that's white. Everyone else has freedom of speech, but you don't. You don't. So what do we think about that? It doesn't mean you're free from repercussions of what your speech or your flapping tongue at the Harrigan's, the Irish bar in Newcastle, in the wine district. It's got written on the wall, many a man has had his nose broken by his own flapping tongue. No truer words spoken. What do we think about freedom of speech? I don't give a fuck if someone is insulted by the truth. When it is the truth, it should be spoken, and you shouldn't have to be hiding behind it, knowing that your job can be taken off you because only left-leaning people are normally in HR, which is also DEI hires, because HR is almost never about giving a job to a white male, heterosexual male. It is about looking after minorities and giving special entry to people into agencies, looking after those marginalised groups, and that is goddamn wrong. Had the right to remain silent, but not the ability. No better word, mate, that sounds like a tattoo right there, or a T-shirt there, Simon Powell. That's a great one. Jenny says, I've been a stand-up comedian for 17 years. There's no freedom of speech. Yep. The truth hurts those who have, that cannot, establish critical thinking. You shouldn't get emotional in the conversations you have, team. But I'd also say avoid having conversations with idiots. Hey, Kaz, I'll be honest, I'm a bit afraid of heights, mate. I'm terrified of heights, Ron. Not scared shitless. I'm scared shitless. Not scared shitless, but not a fan. Any advice for Kabuka, such as the high cables and abseiling? Yep, I'll tell you right now, don't tell anyone you're scared, because you're going to do it anyway. You don't have a choice. There's other people scared of water, and they're going to do it anyway, the swim test. There's people scared of confined spaces. Okay, there's other people afraid of having someone that looks like a school shooter sleep beside him at Kapuka in the bed across from him. There's some people that don't want to go and have a shower in open area showers, but you do it. You don't tell them, because then people take glee when they see how nervous and triggered you are by the activity you're about to do. Now, I learned that the hard way when I went to New Zealand as a section commander, and then stepped up to platoon sergeant there when we did impromptu abseiling. I've abseiled off mountains. I've abseiled out of helicopters. I've fast roped out of helicopters. No one gives two shits that you're scared. No two shits. As a matter of fact, even better. Let's get you over it. There's a thing in the Australian Army called adventure training, and that's all about exposing you to your fears to make sure that you understand and can compartmentalise what it is to get the job done regardless of your trepidations. Brady Carr says, well, we're not going to turn around and give us these rights now. And Brady, you're absolutely right. You are absolutely right. Everything I'm pointing out here, we already know is right. But we also know that we're not allowed to do it because we're not the chosen few, which we call the failed politicians that walk amongst us, the devil that walks amongst us. I love Australia. I love Australians, but I don't like the politicians. Not at all. Not at all. They're not leaders, none of them. They're not even really managers. They're narcissists. Let's go to the next one. Okay, this one might be touchy for some, but I like it. No, I don't like it. I love it. All right, these are jumping all over the place. Bam. Where are All right, I used to think to myself, and I spoke to some of my buddies today about dual citizenship, that I don't think there should be dual citizenship because I think that how can you properly immerse yourself into the country you're going into if you've still got the best of both worlds of the world that you came from? So I've changed my mind. I spoke to someone, Donald Trump. That's his alias, not the actual real Donald Trump. And I spoke to him today, and he pointed out something, and it made sense. If you get rid of it, there's no benefits, and you can't give it to someone in the UK anyway because they have the dual citizenship because they're a Commonwealth country, etc. So I thought to myself, well, righto, well, let's have a look at this. So let's make it that every person that ever legally migrates to Australia keeps their dual citizenship, and guess what? You fuck up in our justice system, and there'll be a line, a justice line. Any crime over that tier, bam, you're going home, bud. Boy, you're going home, and everything you own in Australia can be sold to be able to pay for to the victims of the crimes that you created. Bam, you're going home, never coming back. What do you reckon about that? Yep, it doesn't matter if you've been here 15 years. If you stuff up in the country that gave you a home, you're going home. Go and do a trial flight 30 minutes at your local aero club. You'll be set after. JG, I didn't even know you could do that. Simon Pella, Filthy Raffy, says they tried to give the Aussies the Bill of Rights, the referendum in the 80s. It failed to get the votes needed. That's because Australians are inherently dumb when it comes to critical thinking. Our world is so good. Our life in Australia is so good that sometimes we don't worry about the things that matter. People in Australia are so, interested in things like state of origin, the footy, their beers, their rum, that they don't realise what's happening. Look over here while something happens over here. Keep us distracted. It's the reason why they built the Colosseums. Keep the people distracted. And it works in Australia. And we saw that in the last big sickness that swept across here, where every conspiracy turns out to be goddamn effing right. There you go. I had the jab, and then I had the one after it, the booster, and guess what? I've been sick ever since. My dad was the one that said, can you please have it? He begged me, and I did it, and I've been sick ever since. Anyway, all right. So what do we think about that one? Dual citizenship. Someone comes from overseas, no worries. Here, awesome. Love it. Love your food, love the smell of the street. But you should always have the fear that you stuff up, you're going back to where you come from, son or daughter. Brady says, why put police on a pedestal when they're the tool of the politicians to further destroy society? There are way more examples of police injustices to witnesses than any good they do. That's bullshit, Brady. That's not true at all. You've got guys that get up every day, and gals, and put on that police uniform and put themselves at risk for everyone amongst us who have good families, that go out there and would have no idea you exist until you do something wrong in front of them. Now, do I think that about Highway Patrol? No. Okay. Do I think that about, do I think the judgment a lot of police do, where it's about now absolutely about making money for the government, but there's still dinky-die cops every single day that you run into that are lovely people getting around, dark humour. Yeah. I don't believe in going to the police for mateship, but I don't. You go to the military for that. Yeah. Sorry, I can't. Eli here. Good point. Started a G-Wagon course. I just spoke to him a couple of days ago. Eli is a legend. He started his driver's course. He's gone from being a civilian to now driving a multi-$100,000 G-Wagon only multiple days after being out of Kapuka. His life is really bouncing. It's looking great. Eli, we're very proud of you, mate. Very proud of you. That Patreon calls I have with you are always fantastic. That was a guilty drop to join Patreon there, team. Ron, when I had my defence interview, the officer said you are aware people can identify as whatever they want. That's completely fine. Not in my book, it's not. They call it diversity and I can't voice my opinion. No, that is the first sign of mental health. And anyone that facilitates transgender in the military is facilitating mental health. It should not happen. And I believe that needs to be dipped out right now. And DEI in all forms needs to be gone. A village with DEI goes backwards every time. The only way to go forward is meritocracy. That's it. Something that doesn't happen in our government or our public servants. RL, another one for the list. At school, they should be teaching the kids what the political parties are meant to represent and how to actually vote until they choose to change the voting system. Yeah, I like that idea, mate. I do. Kids should be part of the conversation before they're actually voting. Otherwise, they don't know what they're doing, like they recently did in WA. I'd like to know more about that, RL. Thank you very much, Lance Corporal. Jacko Shuryman, hey Kaz, I just wanted to say a huge thank you for your guidance. I nailed my interview today and got found suitable. Right on, Jacko. All that's left for me is the PFA and OSB, Officer Selection Board, for those that don't know what's going on, and everyone that's come to Patreon has got a 100% success rate except for one person, which I won't go into. That's great, Jacko. Great. Vito says, thought dual citizenship was being stopped in Oz. If they're going to do it or keep it, this would be the reason you could keep it. Absolutely. So there's a path backwards as well. Ready? But they don't stop the corrupt cops from their behaviour. You accept what you walk past, yes? No. No. The problem is there is so many pieces of shit in Australia, that the police deal. If there's a lot of police in your area, it's because there's a lot of pieces of shit in your area. If there's no police in your area, chances are not much is going wrong in your area. Now, when police do something wrong, depending on what it is, of course, because they're supposed to have 100% on integrity, just like the FBI does, Peter Stroke, Lisa Page, sure, Comey, but it's a tough one. What do you dob your friend in? I used to say to myself, here's a hypothetical, Brady. This is a really interesting one. Brady, think of the best person you've ever known in your life. Your very, very, very best friend. Very best friend. Everything they've done in their life is incredible. They love you. They love your family. But then you find out and they tell you, Brady, I've got to tell you, bro, no one knows except you. And I'm going to leave this to you and you can dob me in and my life is over. I'll get bashed. I could get killed in jail. I'll never see the light of day again. I can tell you why I did what I did, blah, blah, blah. I've taken a life. I've buried a body. I don't think they're ever going to find me. This is the reason why I did it. In my mind, I still did it. I'm justified. I can't change it. Mate, you're the only one that knows other than me. And this is the person that you would die for, and you actually start to think, I actually understand why you did it. Would you dob him in? Would you dob him in? Or would you go, bro, never talk on this subject again. I never want to hear about it ever again. And let it go to the grave. And if he gets caught by another means, would you let him walk? Or do you do the right thing and dob on him and let him burn so that he can be part of a system, despite the fact that you actually in your mind understand and believe and agree with what he did? It's never as simple as it sounds. It's never as simple as it sounds, but it's an interesting topic, Brady. It's a very interesting one. This is one I'd rather have a talk with you about and go, give me some context on where your hatred of police came from, and maybe it was earned. Hey, Ron, I'm with you, mate. They said it's okay these days. I wish I could tell him in the interview that they are all mentally sick, but I wanted to pass, so I just stayed quiet. Absolutely. You've got to know when to tell the girl she's not fat in those jeans. Illicit. Is the government security clearance pretty easy to pass? No. If you're born in Australia, it can be easy to pass. If you don't have secrets, it can be easy to pass. It depends on your age as well. But if you come from overseas, it can be extremely difficult. They spend a lot of money and they go right into those referees, etc. Again, illicit. If you ever need to have a conversation, any one of you, it's a lot easier to talk to me, jump on Patreon, bam, and go, or become voice of the people on the members down there now. And I'll be putting my phone number in there so people can reach me on that. Again, don't put it on toilet doors like some people want to. Apostle, Jesus. Hey, Kaz, should I join the army if I don't drink? Be brutally honest. Absolutely. You know, we've got Islamic people right now that I'm on Patreon with. You know, I had a conversation today that went for an hour and a half. You know, one of the best conversations I've had. And this guy's 18, Islamic, doesn't drink. An absolute legend. 18-year-old talking to a 54-year-old, not like a Catholic priest kind of way. And we spoke for an hour and a half, what was meant to be a 20-minute conversation. And I come away feeling like I learnt from him. It was the best. You know, everyone, Apostle, loves when a non-drinker says, yeah, I'll drive, team. Everyone throw me $10 each and I'll be your driver. Then you even make some money and you put it in the share market as well. Add that up over a year, mate, you're going to be a rich man. Again, Apostle, get on Patreon. Let's have a good chat, you and me, and let's find out what makes you tick. Father, Son, the Holy Ghost. Hey, Ron, yes, but it's an absolute headache to fill out the security clearance. I get it. I only just finished it, mate, and, mate, it was a pain for the information they ask. Again, it also depends on how complex your case is, what your background is, how old you are. Kane Higgins, how you going, young man? How you going from up north, Mackay way? I hope you're doing well. It's always a nice thing to see you here, Kane. You're a pleasant young man. Let's go to the next slide. And again, team, you should be able to have a conversation about every single topic ever and not feel stimulated. Or you can feel stimulated, but don't feel triggered by it. Just really critically think about it and think about where you come from. Oh, okay, Razor. Gotcha. Cheers, my dude. Now I know who I'm talking about. Now I know who I'm talking to. Okay, what's this one? Oh, this one. Right, I've had a gut full of this in Sydney, you know, and I see it in Melbourne too. Bam. It's time we gave not just some grace to the homeless, but I think it's also time that we enforced our streets and made them safer for children. Get rid of homeless. Homeless people, through one way or another, you know, through some sort of system, should be put into some sort of barracks sort of environment that gives them dignity, gives them hot showers, gives them food, you know, somewhere to sleep, get them off the street. Mental health, don't care. They should not be out there, you know, surviving in all elements, you know, until they find a victim, you know, through either opportunity, okay, or through antagonisation from someone who's fucking with them. Let's get our homeless off the street, get them out of view, and let's see what we can do to rehabilitate them. Yeah? Yep, rehabilitate them. And their disability pension, you know, depending on what it is, get them on that, and that can also be assisting with those programs. Benjamin Buckman, good name. Do you think being super tall gives you an advantage in joining the army? It does if when it comes to drill being the right marker. I'd say it gives some disadvantages, Benjamin. You know, if you're getting in armoured vehicles, if you're getting in cockpits, you know, some of those things, you know, it can be detriment. If you're in a short trench, you know, you don't want the snipers to be able to see you. How tall are you, BB? Let us know. Hey, Foxy, one of my favourite camel leading fucking people. How you going, mate? How many chin-ups are you up to now? I'll let you know, team. I'm not going to say anything other than the fact that this is a female, you know, and she can do chin-ups. You know, couldn't before, can now. Very, very professional, very hard-working. Oh, I went a bit crazy there. G'day, Foxy. Can we get some thumbs up for the Fox? Apostle says, awesome, because I passed my PFA. I'm waiting for my enlistment. Do you know how long that takes? You should be getting it this week. You should be getting it this week, Apostle. Ring up and go, where is it? Elicit and let me know when you get it. Yeah, there's no reason why everyone here that needs advice, wants advice, should either be on Patreon, Black Legion, okay, or as the voice of the people now, so that I can communicate with you and give you the best chance, the answers to your comments, to give you the very best chance, you know, of not blowing it by doing something or saying something that could get you in the shit. Foxy Fox, Kane, because I'm not doing too well medically. Kane, I might have to give you a call soon. No, mate, leave it with me, buddy. Foxy, within 6 weeks if possible if you're applying for a high priority role. Yep. I believe in the fast track. We should be getting that done. Aaron Muscat, no, I'm still waiting on an enlistment date, but I've passed PFA and doing high priority role artillery. Give them a call, Aaron. Even though you're scared of heights, give them a call. Jaden, Brisbane is bad for homeless as well. Yep, we need to clean that up. We need to give these people the chance, to be given that dignity, the hotbed. Otherwise, you could push them into criminality. And honestly, it's got to the stage I don't give a fuck about their feelings. I care about getting them off the streets, stopping the garbage, starting to make us look like bloody Venezuela, and kids asking what's happening there as grown adults, asking, swearing, yelling, drug-infused, screaming at the night that feel like you don't know which ones are violent, which ones aren't, we've got to do something about it. It's getting worse, and it's not what we should be doing with our citizens. Aussie, Kaz, the wife just passed her citizenship last week. Congratulations. So she'll be getting her Australian citizenship soon. Aussie, that's amazing, mate. Make sure she doesn't stuff up and get sent home. Tell her that I can't wait to see a photo of her with a cricket bat. Foxy says 7. And 3 with armour and rig. She's starting to scale up. Foxy, what is your north point? How many chin-ups are you going to get to? Aaron, that's 10 weeks at Kapooka and 16 at Singo. Yep. Try about 10 to 12 weeks at Kapooka and 16 to 20 weeks at Singleton, taking into account when you get there, you don't go straight into session, okay? Remember that you'll never go into session in the first week you get there. So you're looking at least 17 weeks. And why do you think if the government hasn't done that for the homeless because they would be worried about a lot of people would stop working due to skyrocketing prices of rent, fuel? I don't know. I really don't know. But it's definitely deliberate. Look the other way. Gravy. Now, that's a good name. Lurker here. Thanks for your content, Kaz. You're a bloody legend. I wish that beautiful women with big boobs, brown eyes, and a low self-esteem thought that, mate. He's finished his JOA last Friday, waiting for the contract. Oh, yeah. Gravy. That sounds like a Navy nickname. Oh, yeah. Benjamin, 6'7". Holy shit. Imagine you in a Hawkeye armoured vehicle with your knees up around your head looking like you're doing yoga or pleasing yourself like Ricky Martin. Ken Nelly. What are the chances my name's Benjamin too and I'm the exact same height, also working on enlistment? You guys should go together and say you're twins. Foxy says 10 is the goal, then I'll work towards muscle ups. There you go. I like that. That stays within the hypertrophy spectrum. Well done. We've got Woodser. G'day, Kaz and team. G'day, mate. How you going? We're nearly done, team. Let's get the next ones. Sorry, I just realised we've been on here for so long. Where are we? Bam. You're going to like this one. We've got a couple to go. How dare our country tax someone after they've paid tax for 40 hours? This should be mandatory, that the government can only take tax off you up to 40 hours. And even then, that's a lot. So that means that someone like Woodser or Aussie Annan or Gravy can decide, you know what, boss, can I do an extra 6 weeks, an extra 6 hours? And he goes, I'm not paying you extra. I'm not paying you overtime, but those 6 hours are all going to be untaxed. Are you happy with that? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, can I do that each month? An extra 6 hours a month? And that'll be non-taxed. And guess what? That's all going to go into my stock market portfolio. 6 hours, 10 hours every month. How's that? An extra, yeah, let's take it up to 15. What else are you doing? Drinking coffee? Watching Netflix? Get it in here. 40 hours. What do you reckon on that? Give people the chance to work hard and get rewards. Brady says, Kaz, we're $1 trillion in debt, yep. Absolutely. And for a very small population that's also very bad at money mismanagement. All the suburbs in southwest Sydney that were predominantly public housing have been raised to make way for new estates for new arrivals, hence more homeless. They're not, I don't believe they're homeless because of their financial situation. Almost everyone I see is because of substance abuse. They've cooked their brain, and mental abuse and alcoholism. You know, everyone I see, and I see the same groups every day. And you know what? It means nothing. You give them compassion, they give you violence. You know, today, happy as hell, beautiful. And it's like the next day they don't even recognise you. You might have given them $50 the day before, and then they want to fight you because you didn't give them anything this time. You know, it's incredible. It really is. It really is. And that's why someone needs to step in. The government system needs to step in. The amount they spend on, we spend on NDIS is one of the biggest corrupt things in Australia. It's incredible that you can have someone that is not even the guardian getting paid to take your child on excursions that you couldn't take on, that you can't take them on yourself. That's out of control. Is it true that people on NDIS have been taken to Disneyland before? How does that work? Anyway, 59 minutes, yep. RL, reverse the muscle ups so you can get there faster. There we go. Lengthen the muscles under tension to increase the strength more efficiently. There we are. BB, what's the best army town to be posted to? Absolutely Townsville. Book ended by Brisbane, too civilian. And Darwin, too hot. Psycho divorce weather. Townsville, big town, country values. The Strand, Castle Hill, amazing. Yeah? And you're at the base of the training establishment, the range facilities, etc. It's great. I do 43-hour minimum every week. Then imagine Antonali, the German, the Kaiser. Imagine that means 12 hours a month. If that was given to you tax-free, that could be invested, and you'd probably even go, okay, give me an extra couple. You know, give me another couple of hours. So at least I know it's going towards something. That'd be great. Aussie says if the government wants to boost recruitment, maybe lower or complete cut income tax for reservists in the civilian jobs. Be careful of that one. So I'll tell you something, Aussie. When you're an Army reservist, if you are in a business, what happens is those Army Reserve days under CERCAT 4 is $4,000 nearly a fortnight, you know, on top of your wage. You know, if you do over 5 days, you can qualify for that on top of already $240 a day tax-free. It can be one of the highest paid jobs in Australia. Yep. Medical emergency NDIS wanted $8,000 to look after my disabled kid for 5 days. There is nothing that could cost that. That's incredible. It's an absolute rort. I've got friends that work for NDIS, and even they shake their head at how easy, once they've got the qualifications, of the money that they can make. They said it's almost unregulated. Case, you think the Albanese is doing the wrong thing going to China and that he will wreck the AUKUS deal? If he does, no one get angry at Trump. You know, this is Albo who's blowing this for Australia, not Trump. What do you think on 40 hours? They're not taxed. Let's go. Next one. This one, we need to put the fear of the God into those that walk amongst us that wish us bad. What's this one? This might be a double up. We might get rid of this one. Okay, no, we're going to get rid of that one. And last one, I believe it is. Last one before we go to the title screen. Okay. It's time that we reinstated the death penalty. Yeah. And I don't believe there is a second opinion on that. That's what it has to be. There has to be a death penalty in our prison systems. I believe that there should be federal crimes against humanity in Australia, and that means that jail, in all of Australia, you don't get visitors. if you're from Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, Northern Territory, WA, doesn't matter. You go to a federal prison, which will be centrally located, and then from there, bam, that's just how it's going to be. You've given up your right to live with amongst civilized humanity. Now you're going to pay for it. So death penalty for above certain tiers. The argument for that, some people go, I don't agree with it. Guess what? Don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about your opinion. Unless it's your child that is the victim of that crime, you shouldn't have a say. That's just the way it is. And if you are the victim and you have got religious reasons for that not occurring because some sort of despicable, crime has occurred with violence, etc., regardless, even if it's got mental health involved, still death penalty. That shouldn't be a way out. Even more, if you've got mental health, it should be death penalty. If you're that dangerous amongst other people. You do the same to an animal, you do the same to your family dog that you love. Now, what this should be is if you've got a religious reason why you don't agree with it, guess what? If it ever happens to you, then that's the only time your opinion matters, and then that should be, I want clemency, that you speak to the judge. Okay, I want to forgive that person. I want to turn the other cheek for what they've done to aggrieve my family. But other than that, make it quick, not painless, and the appeals, as soon as you are found guilty, within a month, you're done. None of this 10 years on death row, within a month. And none of this $100,000 to do it. I will do it. Give me a job. I'll do it for free. Put a bullet through the heart, straight up. I don't need a squad with me. I'll do it by myself, and I'll do it with a smile. And I'll do it for free, or libre, as they say in Spanish. If anyone doesn't agree with that, I'd love to know what angle you got. Maybe you've never had or seen what it looks like, what man can do to man. Hey, Kaz, mate, hope you're well. Just a quick one. If I finish the Army gap year, will I have to serve another 4 years to complete a full-time contract or only 3? No, that will double over and it'll become a full-time contract, mate. Yeah, so then it'll be 4 years all up. Okay, but otherwise, you go straight in, you're fully qualified, ready reservist, which means that you can opt to go straight into Circat 4 and get those delicious dollars, up to 100 days, up to $31,000 a year, not including bush pay, with all the benefits and bonuses. And that's what my last video was. You should get onto it. Mr. Buckaroonie, one of my favourite people on earth. I agree, but it will never happen, Kaz. Again, I totally agree, Bucko. And my question is, why? Why? These are 9 things that would make Australia the best country in the world overnight. And someone says, no, we can't do those things. The question is always why. Yeah. Our people deserve to be safe. We've got a very beautiful country. We've got a very safe country. But I can feel it slipping, standards are dropping, and lying is becoming apparent to people's faces. We're saying up is down. Okay, we're saying black is white. We're saying there's grievances. We're saying that about the gender pay inequalities doesn't exist. There's not one reason why feminism should exist anymore. Because in actual fact, they have more power in this society than anyone else and still want more. I don't understand it. We need a good country, but we need an honest country. Stop looking at it at 27 million people as our population. Look at it as 100 people. Okay, what would happen in a village of 100 people, if people carried on the way they did and didn't contribute to the village? Bam, you'd be flicked out, gone. Good, don't come back. Nick, my civilian workplace gets super cheap labour for prison workers. Okay. Serco, the company who runs most of our prisons, is making a huge profit and wants to maintain essentially slave labour. Absolutely agree. As long as money goes back into the pockets of these prisoners, I'm okay with that. Remember that they also work for defence as well, Serco, and they take us for a ride as well. So they lobby for no death penalty, sadly. Man, there'll always be enough prisoners that want to work. Love your work, says Skitsy. Thanks, mate. We've got to put it out there. We're starting the conversation, so when you go to the drink bubble tomorrow and you have a cup of coffee, you're able to go, hey, dude, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? How about you watch this? Let's have a good argument. Stir up your lefties. Stir them up. Throw some things out there and watch them go crazy because they can't critically think and they don't have something that backs up their argument. So instead, they say that's just your opinion, even if it's for the best of the village. Our judges are hopeless. Yep, don't like judges either. They need accountability first for their decisions. Absolutely. And you know what? When a judge lets someone out or makes something or overrules someone like Mr. Buckaroony, a policeman in the street, and basically then there's a victim after that because someone didn't do that person reoffended, then that should be on the judge. Like as thought Bob Catter's stance on gun laws and castle law. It is tricky. I do believe in guns, especially for those that are more qualified than police to carry them. I also believe that police should be able to take their weapon home, and I do believe in the castle law to an extent, But again, it's not hard to invite a scumbag over, then get your killer by blowing him off your step and saying, I made sure my ring camera wasn't working, and now I've got a notch on the butt of my my weapon system. Hey, Lloydie, how you going? It's a very interesting one, Jared. Very interesting. So, team, is there any new subscribers? Hit the subscribe right now, see if your name comes up. Death penalty. Has anyone got any possible reason why they wouldn't personally want there to be death penalty for people that prey on those amongst us? Okay. Bam. Nine ways to make Australia better in 2025. I'll leave you on the one that I think is the most important. The very most important. Didn't think of it that way. Do you know why I think of it that way, Jared? Because I'd probably do it. I can't be trusted. All right, let's have a look at this one quickly. Last one. Which one to you that we spoke about tonight was the most important one to you? I'd love to know. I'd love to know. Let me know which one. Was it the Australian flags on army vehicles? Was it dual citizenship to be able to kick people back to their country if they stuff up and abuse our system? Would it be for freedom of speech? Would it be for military overhaul complete? Would it be for national service? Would it be for the death penalty? Would it be 40 hours max on for tax? Would it be homeless being housed to save their dignity, but also keep Australia's streets clean and safe for our youth, and stop the social decline? Or would it be to give our kids a chance, a puncher's chance at the future, to give them, a chance that some of us don't have by breaking the cycle? National Service says Mr. Buckaroony. National Service says RL, and I know who he is. Mandatory Service says MMA. I like it. Hey, Kaz, cheers for the chat today. Lozzie, no problems at all, mate. Cal, spoke to him today too, mate. I just got the email saying my new account is now open and ready to use. Can't wait to get stuck into it. Fantastico. That his relationship with money is about to change. Next Sunday, we're launching the Money Club, and that's going to be awesome. Queenslander, Mr. Buckaroony, let's go. And this is my most important one, the very most important one. I don't care what your religion is. I don't care what your gender is. What I care about is you having the ability to activate and weaponize your finances so it doesn't matter what you do for a goddamn job. When you invest that money and you do it young and you have that money in the market, time will do the work, and you will have options that you never will have if you don't listen to what I'm saying right now. I'm not a fiduciary. I'm not a financial advisor. But our children deserve to be taught more about compound interest, more about stock market, more about compound interest as opposed to simple interest, and how to do these things than what they need to learn about Pythagoras and the volume of a fucking cylinder. That's a fact, Jack. Because the thing that makes everyone go down the gurgle, sign the circle the drain, face depression is knowing there's looming bills about not understanding how to be frugal, how to make your money work for you and give you options that you will never get. Don't think about why should I do it? Think, what if I fucking don't? Because if you don't, you're going to be like Kaz at 54, where very sick, but everything I do is for my daughter because I probably don't have time left to do it for me. And if I had me talking to me like this right now, I would be the voice of the people on the join button that you can see near the subscribe. I would tick the bell. I would press like. That's the least you can do, team. And I'd consider getting on Patreon because I can tell you what, this channel is about to activate in different directions. Patreon will always be there to help you get in the military, but we need to keep this channel moving and we need to give you opportunities you are not getting from your dad, you're not getting from your mum, you're not getting from your friends. The generation you are right now, 18 to 25-year-old people, you have an opportunity right now, the first generation in the history of the world, to put yourself into a position with no excuses to have the best goddamn life possible. All you need to do is come to the water voluntarily and drink. I can't force you. I can't drag you, but I look forward to helping you. And time is money. But you know what? I don't care if I give it for free because at the end of the day, I can't leave you behind. I wouldn't do it on a battlefield. I wouldn't do it to you in the street, and I definitely wouldn't do it to you financially if I knew a better way of doing it. So guys and gals, let's finish with the questions and I'm out. Alrighty, some of the homeless groups here made things worse. The bad apples, not the whole barrel, and good apples will go back to the street because it's safer. Yeah. Yep, it's time for me to roll. Benjamin, should you get an investment property with defence benefits or stock market? I'll see you next Sunday, Benjamin, and we'll talk about it. Get on the Voice of the People, okay, or the Money Club when that tier starts up, and let's talk about it because we're going to have some really good times. Really good times. Drop that pebble, watch the ripple, and watch as you compound your happiness week over week, year over year. And we come together every second Thursday to tell you you're doing it right. Well done. 9 ways to make Australia better. Will they do it? Probably not. But at least now you can have a conversation at the bubbler and you know you tried. See you later, team. All the best with you. I'm 60 and that broke. I can't afford to pay attention. And Bucko gives me a loan. So how poor am I? See you later, team. Take it easy. Remember, sex is only important until you're 45. G'day, Chris. How you going, mate? All the best to you and your family and your military history. I'm going to go and soak my butt in a bath now. I feel sorry for myself. I had nothing to feel sorry for myself. I'm loving my life. I'm sore. I'm sick, but I'm happy. I'm going to be putting my feet, my tinea in the ocean tomorrow. And guys and gals, it's an absolute pleasure to hold the mic for you. And I can't wait to talk to you guys. See you later. Take it easy. Do it to them before they do it to you. And the world is the way you look at it. Okay? Never be a victim. See you later. See you, Lozzie. Gravy, gravy. See you on